bringing you what you need to know about the coronavirus pandemic.
And the situation is developing constantly, but here's what you need to know to start your day. First up, the FDA has issued an alert about the rapid COVID-19 tests that are being used all across the United States, including at the White House. They say the Abbott test may produce false negatives. It's used daily to test President Trump and key staffers. Abbott disputes the findings, and the FDA says the test can still be used, and it is working with Abbott and others to study the new data. And after a 2-month closure, Grandfather Mountain will reopen today, but with limited capacity. The nature park will be following strict social distancing guidelines and has already moved ticket sales online. They'll also be open this weekend and again on May 22nd.
As of today, South Carolina's landlords can once again evict tenants. This after a 2-month-long order keeping them from doing so during the height of the pandemic. The state newspaper reports that some tenants who had pending evictions before the order will now see those cases go to court. Some could even be evicted today, and those who could not pay their rent over the past 2 months can now have evictions filed against them. And in North Carolina, all evictions are on hold until June 1st. Families living in hotels do have protections. For example, they're protected if they can't pay. Earlier this month, the Attorney General sent letters to dozens of hotels warning them about the state's halt on evictions applying to people living in hotels as well. Plans for what school will look like for your child are well underway in North Carolina.
Yeah, we may not know when school may start back up, but lawmakers say that both sides are of the aisle are working together on these plans. Eyewitness News reporter Gina Esposito is live for us with some of the ideas that are being tossed around in Raleigh. Gina?
Yeah, when and if schools reopen in the fall, the North Carolina Task Force wants to make sure there's a plan in place to keep students and staff safe. The group developed a preliminary health guidelines. They are social distancing, cleaning and hygiene, how to monitor health of students and staff, protect high-risk populations, and education. A major focus is how to increase social distancing in schools. One option for schools is to stagger school hours. Now, there could be days when some students are in school and others are learning from home. Desks would also have to be moved so students can sit 6 feet apart. Class size would be reduced and group activities limited. Meals would be eaten in the classrooms instead of the cafeteria, and recess would be staggered. In regards to the cleaning and hygiene, there would also be frequent cleaning of high-touch areas. There could also be a recommendation for when students and staff could wear face masks. Back to you.
All right, so many things to consider. Gina, thank you. Also, school districts all across the country are now deciding how they should honor their high school seniors. Well, one South Carolina town, they got super creative here. Look at this. Every graduating senior has a portrait that is mounted along Walhalla's Main Street. That is 257 banners that are hanging on lampposts. Organizers got permission from the photographer and students' parents, and then they raised money from businesses and residents. Well, in just a week, they had enough to pay for a 2-by-3-foot banner for every student. And as an added bonus, the new graduates' families will get to keep those photos when they come down.
All right, we're just about a week away from North Carolina possibly entering phase 2, and Mecklenburg County health officials say they expect to be ready for it. County Health Director Gibby Harris says our trends are stable. We should be in good shape. Phase 2 would bring back gyms, bars, indoor dining, houses of worship. All will be at limited capacity and will need to social distance and have those measures in place. The county is working on guidance that they hope to have ready by next Friday. Harris says some of these restrictions that have been in place can be lifted.
It's unreasonable to think that we are not going to start opening up some. Our economy needs us to open up some. Our individuals need us to open up some.
Now, that decision on whether to reopen is up to Governor Roy Cooper. He was not clear on whether he'll make the announcement next week, but our state data shows that we are trending in a good direction. Well, as we head into the weekend, worshipers and pastors, they're demanding to be able to hold services inside their churches.
Yeah, dozens of pastors are now suing Governor Cooper over his stay-at-home order. Reporter Anthony Costora is live for us in Weddington. Anthony, not everyone is ready, though, to open their sanctuary doors.
That's right, Brittany, and we'll have more on their argument in just a moment, but we have seen these church services held in parking lots and online, and as the state continues to reopen with more businesses opening their doors, some church leaders want to move back into their sanctuaries for services, and they want to do it this weekend. About 200 pastors from across North Carolina filed a lawsuit against the state and protested at the state capitol yesterday. Another group filed a federal lawsuit saying the governor's restrictions infringe on their freedom of religion. The current stay-at-home order limits gatherings of 10 or more people to prevent the spread of COVID-19, and that includes church services. One Baptist pastor out of Monroe says these leaders can't make a difference from a distance. But not everyone agrees, especially with the lack of testing and a vaccine.
We need to stand up and just remind our leaders that we have a God-given right to assemble as a local church.
It's not a call to fight each other. This is foolish.
To this lawsuit saying his executive order does protect the First Amendment, but one legal expert told us the governor's office may need to produce hard facts as to why this order should stay in place. John?
Yeah, now, Anthony, so the lawsuit's filed, but how is this going to impact churches in Mecklenburg County?
Well, under that phase one of the governor's order, churches, of course, can hold service, but they need to follow a series of rules. Take a look here. Those services need to be held outside unless that is impossible. Well, then they can have indoor service, but social distancing would still be required. And CMPD says they will continue to enforce these rules under the governor's executive orders. John?
All right, we'll see how this all plays out. Anthony Casturo live for us this morning. Staff from Medic and the Mecklenburg County Health Department will be testing residents at a nursing home in Mint Hill after a private company's test raised a few questions. Mint Hill Senior Living and everyone tested on Monday by Mako Medical Laboratory. They were notified of some positive tests. But yesterday they said the lab told them there was a problem with that testing and they were retracting their positive results. Now, Mako Medical told us on May 13th, they reported one plate of COVID-19 results contained false positives due to human error with the lab. They say the results were not due to instrument error, method failure, or misinterpretation. They're putting in additional safeguards now to make sure this never happens again. The state is making sure that every employee of a North Carolina prison can get tested for the virus. This includes more than 21,000 people. The tests will be free, confidential, they'll be voluntary. Testing will begin next Monday at some FastMed urgent care locations throughout the state. We told you there's been an outbreak at Neuse Correctional in Goldsboro. That prison has one of the highest number of COVID-19 cases in prisons across the nation. More than 250 inmates have tested positive. All 700 inmates were tested for the virus. The Federal Bureau of Prisons says 70% of inmates tested have tested positive, but they say that does not reflect the positive rate across the entire system. They've only tested around 2,700 inmates out of 146,000.
Well, one wrong move on your weekly unemployment certification can disrupt your benefits. Take a look at Morgan Haynes. She's a hairstylist in Kannapolis, and well, the business had to close in March, so she applied for unemployment and finally got through. Well, her weekly certification asked about her income for the week, so she put down the unemployment money she was getting. That's when she told Action 9's Jason Stujanki those checks stopped coming.
It's stressful because the bills still roll around. They still come every time. You know, your mortgage payment, your power bill, even though they won't cut you off right now, it's still going to add up. So it was hard.
And Jason says when the weekly certification asks for your income, do not include your unemployment checks. The state only cares about the money that you make outside of that. So really important tip right there.